So, hi, Gaye DeRusso here with the Majestic rider with Remy. I am getting ready to take him down the road and trying to build his confidence up and his trust and all of that. He's doing pretty well. He goes in the woods just fine, but going down the road he was nervous. I'm sure he's not used to all that stimulus. So I've been getting him used to bikes and hiking sticks and baby carriages, balloons, all that stuff. And now it's time to put all of that together and get him more confident out there with different objects, and I'll show you what to do. But when I wanted to talk to you about when you're building a horse's confidence up, you know, the horses analyze everything. So he's analyzing how I tack him up, how I prepare him and get him ready to go out there. So I've already lunged him over poles because I'm trying to increase his top line and also put him more on the trotty side because he was very pacey. I take my time tightening this girth, which he's blown up a lot. We're almost there. And I help them through situations. The only way to build up trust with your horse is to do things with them. So even the tacking up, the grooming. Pay attention to your horse when you're doing those things. If they're putting their ears back, if they're turning their head, they're picking up their leg and kind of swishing their tail, they're telling you they don't like something. And you want to really be in tune with your horse as soon as you start putting hands on them, because it's cues like that that you miss, and then the horse doesn't trust you. So I want to make sure my saddle's fitting him. I had to shim it, and with him, his left flank area is a little bit lower and his right shoulder is smaller, so I had to put shims over there, and you'll see the back of my saddle kind of sitting way up, but it sits down once I'm on him. But I want to make sure he has good clearance of his shoulders so he can use his shoulders. It's very important with the gaited horse that things fit them so you don't hurt them as you're trying to gait them or as you're riding up and down hills, because if your saddle doesn't fit, it will push on them, make them trippy, make them not gait well, and give them behavior issues. So we're trying to make sure we don't over tighten things, we're not overdoing anything, and showing him that like we respect his opinion and we need him to do what we want to do, but I'm going to try and take care of them as much as I can. So as you're building up their trust, you have to put them in different situations, like desensitizing them and lunging them, riding them in the arena, riding them down the trail. And then you have to work through those situations. So obstacle courses are a great way to do it. These trail obstacles, all those things. Yep. And when it's a new horse, you might want to hand walk them through those things first, and then do it from their back. And then they'll understand more and they'll trust you more. They'll be like, oh, she'll show me. I don't have to worry about this lady. He used to be very worried about his ears, so I did a lot of desensitizing with him. And now I can just put the bridle over his head, unless he makes me a liar with this. But he's quite good. I do give him a cookie to help. Don't worry about hitting his ears. If he pulls back, you just do it over and over again. The more careful you are, usually the worse you'll make it. Cookie. So I put the right ear first, and then the left ear. Again, he didn't like his ears touched, so I'm very careful that I make sure I'm not scrunching his ears, because people do that all the time and don't understand why the horses don't like it. Always put in the opposite ear first. So if I'm right-handed, I'm usually standing on the left side, so I always put the right ear in first. But if you're left-handed, you might do it from the other side, so then you'd put the left ear in first. It's much easier to put the opposite ear in first and then put the ear in that's closest to you. I do give treats, especially if I'm trying to build up confidence in them. I don't overdo it. I do it for special things, but I like to have it on me in case we have to go buy something scary, and he does it really well. I like to give him a reward. So any horse that's taken out by itself, it needs confidence building. I always have stick and spurs on. And why do I do that? I always want something for backup. In case he needs more motivation to go, I got a give them some more motivation to go. If you don't want to carry a stick, you can put a spanker on your saddle, or you can get those Rommel reins. Those work well, but you need something. And the spurs are for the last thing for backup if they really won't go, or if I need to push them sideways. So again, you got to build up trust, but the only way to build up trust, for you to trust your horse and your horse to trust you, is things are going to come up and you have to work through it. You have to be prepared. It is not just the horse's job to take care of you. You take care of each other. It's a team, okay? And you ever been on a team and one person's doing all the work and the other people are just sitting there watching? You don't want to be those people, because nobody wants to be with those people. So horses want a team player. They want you to help them. They want you to guide them. They want a leader. If you do those things for them, they will usually do anything for you. It's that simple. But many people just want to sit up here and not do a darn thing. Those people should just get ATVs or motorcycles or something else, because horses don't appreciate that. Okay, so we're going off on trail. His feet are much better than they were when they first got trimmed, because now it's been a while, but we're still going to stay off of the rocks. When I start them out, I've taught them all how to put their head down, so I immediately ask them to put their head down, because they're going to be calmer that way. I have the reins short, because if you have the reins short, it's easier to control the horse. Let's go over here now. Now I'm going to leg yield him, because he knows how to do that. And I'm going to practice all that arena work out here so he gets really good at it. Even if they know it and you don't practice it, you won't be good at it. They won't be good at it when you need it. And all the arena work is for the trail. They're all defensive maneuvers. So I need that leg yield to push him over to get around things. I also need that to distract him, or to give him more room around an object if he's scared. So going by these dogs, what am I going to do? I'm going to slide the bit a little bit. I know they're going to jump on the fence and bark. He doesn't care. He's going for the soft ground. So look, he's going right next to the fence. And then he spooked a little bit, or he tripped on a rock. And that's just what horses do, okay? He might have tripped. Horses trip sometimes. Or he might have spooked, but he spooked in place. So who cares about that, okay? If you're worried about them spooking in place, again, horses might not be a good thing for you, because they do spook. So now as I'm going out, he's going a little slow, so I know as we get to the mailbox up here that he might try to stop, because that's what horses do when they don't want to go out by themselves, and he's only gone down this road a couple of times. So right now he's slowing down, so I'm not going to wait till he stops. I'm going to start squeezing, and I'm tapping him with my stick, like, keep going. The dogs are behind these bushes here, and they might come up or they might not. It just depends. So if I know something is somewhere, like the dogs are behind the bushes, I try to give him room. But I'm also sliding the bit, getting his attention, and I'm sliding that bit just very lightly, because I slide the bit for different things. So I just squeeze lightly with one hand, like my left hand, and then my right hand, and then my left hand, and then my right hand. This gets your horse's attention and does help you to keep it down. But I always teach them to keep their head down just from light pressure. So all of that helps me. So the dogs weren't there today, see? There they are. So they're coming up behind us, but usually when they can see their dogs, they're okay. It's when there becomes, like now, a barking bush. So slide the bit, right leg, leg yield. You're okay. Breathe in and out through your mouth. Here comes another dog coming at us. You're okay. Let's leg yield over here so we can see if anything's coming. Now we're going to leg yield back. I don't see anything coming. I want to distract him a little bit. He's being good, but you don't want to just walk by and wait for something to happen. Give him a job to do. Give him something else to think about in case that dog runs over, charges the fence, and jumps on the fence. Don't wait for things to happen. Be a proactive rider if you want to ride alone and you want to build up your horse's trust, okay? Now, when we left, we had to go down a hill, so we couldn't go too fast. But once I get flat, or if I was going uphill, I want to move the horse out a little bit, okay? So a flat walk or a running walk. If it's a slow horse, like it does a slow saddle rack, I might do that. But I'm not going to do anything super fast. I'm not trying to bring their energy up. I'm actually trying to get them to get rid of some energy here, okay? So this horse gaits very nicely now, unless he gets very scared or tense, and then he paces, and your horse might do that too. Again, when they do that, it's not about the pace, it's about getting your horse to relax and getting them to listen to you, and once they do, then that pacing will go away, so don't worry about that. Some things you can help with and some things you can't. Okay, so let's practice some things. So we got the leg yield where we push the horse back and forth. So I'm going to do that if like a car or a bike is coming, or I just need to distract them, or I need to disperse energy, like I'm riding with someone and they're really slow. I might leg yield back and forth, just so I don't have to keep stopping my horse and waiting for them. Okay, it'll disperse some of that energy, but my horse gets to keep moving. Then you can do the serpentine. So you want to practice all this stuff every single ride. So the serpentine is that pattern that kind of looks like how a snake moves, and you're just doing it so it's wide enough that you can do it on a fire trail. And same thing, it helps to distract your horse, it disperses energy. I use it a lot when horses are going home fast. Okay? Now right now he's being good, so I'm just going to hold him straight and relax and breathe. Good job, Remy. Good boy. Now we got goats coming up on the right. So as a leader for your horse, or if you're riding alone or you're leading the trail ride, you need to be aware of everything. He just tried to look to the left, and I just kind of squeezed and relaxed on my right rein, saying, don't look over there. Now when he looked left, he might have actually been looking at those goats because he sees different than I do. But I want to tell him, hey, you don't need to worry about that stuff. I got it. I know there's goats over there. Don't worry about them. Okay? Just like the Wizard of Oz. Like, don't look at that guy behind the curtain. Okay? So you're the leader. You're in charge. So he doesn't need to look all over the place. If you're letting them look all over the place, they're not looking at the footing. They're looking at what things are they going to run from if those things start moving. So it's a good way to make your horse more spooky. It's a good way to make your horse more trippy. And it's a good way to have your horse wobble down the trail and not use its muscles and become very crooked. So I like the horses to travel straight. I try to kind of turn them into a little bit of a quarter horse. A little bit. You can't get too much to like them. But I try to hold them straight. I don't let them look around unless I stop and stand still. And the ones that I know are brave and curious, those ones I will stop and stand still. But the spook masters, no, I don't let them look, because they look and they scare themselves, okay? It's like they look at a tree, but they see a monster. So those horses, you don't want to let them look around. You want to distract them. Now, he just kind of spooked a little bit there. Something on the left, he's kind of snorty. So I'm squeezing and relaxing on my right rein, and I'm digging with my right heel to push him over here, but not let him look at it. So you can do that too. If something's on your left, bend him to the right. If something's on the right, bend him to the left so they can't look at it that well. Now something's coming, and that was right on top of us. So I tried to push his hindquarter over, and again, I wouldn't be able to do that if he didn't know how to disengage his hindquarters, or what I call turn on the forehand. Okay? So I tried to keep his hindquarter over, and I had to look, like, should I keep walking? No, because the space was getting narrower, and then I was going to be in a tree. So you have to make decisions on where to go, what to do. And that's what leaders do. I'm staring at that trailer because I was looking to see, was he coming my way? Because if he was coming my way, I was going to back up and go down that road a little bit to get space. So you're the one always looking. There's goats on the left. There's one in the tree up there. But I'm not, you see, I'm not letting him look around. And people go, my horse looks all over the place. Yes, because you let them. Or the person who had him before you let them. But if everybody makes them hold their head straight, guess what? They'll hold their head straight. But they're not going to do it if I just drop the rein. See the loose rein? Look at what he's doing. He's like, what's over there? Now he's wobbling. And now he's starting to get a little pacey because he's not using his body correctly. So we are not going to ride him like that, because I don't want to pace. I don't want to wobble. And I don't want him spooking. So he needs somebody who's in charge, paying attention, got his head down, and making him walk out. Okay, now as we get up towards this road, see, he slowed down. So what did I do? I tapped him with my stick. He's like, I don't think I want to go over there. And I go, well, but I'm like, I don't care if you don't want to go over there. That's your job. I don't want to go to work either. Maybe I didn't want to ride you today, but guess what? I am. Because maybe I'm tired. Or maybe, I don't feel like doing it. So there I had to get after him, but if I didn't have my stick, guess what? He might not have gone. Now there's a car coming behind me, so I have to make a decision. So what I'm going to do is turn around so I face it. So if I need to, I can go forward Hi. And this is good because it's going to open the gate and then I can follow him through. Now he might spook when the electric gate.
You want to go first?
Oh no, we're fine. We're slower. We'll follow you. Okay. Thanks. So we'll go behind him. So that way we don't have to open the gate, which is nice. Okay, but if that gate just moved back, he might freak out. So at times you're going to have to push your horse, and you have to be dominant enough to be able to do that. Okay, otherwise you might want to ride with people and practice leading here and there, but not be in lead the whole time until you get your confidence up. Okay, so I keep my hands a little wide when I'm trying to keep them straight. I've said that before. They're probably about 12 inches apart, so they're not, I don't carry them like this. I carry them down here, but again, the camera always makes my hands look weird. Now I'm alternating my legs, one leg and then the other, and he kind of sucks back. He is, even though he gets scared, he is a little bit of a lazier horse, so I gotta push him. So listen to his footfall. So you can hear it's a clear 4-beat footfall. And then when I just breathed there, he tried to stop. That was just a mistake because I was breathing and he was listening, which was good. Now we're going uphill, so I'm going to try to work his hind quarter. So I'm going to go a little bit faster. There's a tractor coming up on the right, a trash can. I'm aware of all of it. This is not to make you paranoid, but you need to be aware. Horses are looking for things that move because things that move try to kill them. And that's what they're looking for. Not things that are staying still, but things that are moving or creeping like predators. So if you get that energy out, then if they actually do spook, like a car is coming up there now, I just slid the bit because he tried to look, and I'm like, don't look at that. Now I just tapped him with my stick because he kind of sucked back a little bit. A car is coming, so I'm going to choose to leg yield and push him over here. Now there's squirrel holes, so I'm going to watch where I'm going, and I might serpentine through this. Now we got stuck, and these people are going over a speed bump because the holes of that squirrel really did a good job, and we started sinking. So I chose to stop, wait for that vehicle to go, and then get out of there so he doesn't sink or get hurt. Now he just stopped there like, you seriously want to keep going? I go, yep, I want to keep going. Let's do it. So he's going crooked. He tends to go to the right when he goes crooked, so I just pushed him off my right leg, and now I want to go forward again. If you get stuck and they won't go, if you spin them, like a disengage their hindquarters, that'll usually get them going. You spin them a bunch of times, they don't want to spin anymore, and they're like, it's a better option if I just go forward. And you're like, yeah, that's what I was telling you. So give them options, but may help them to choose the right one by making the other one, like going back home, miserable. You're like, you want to go back home? Maybe we'll spend 20 times way home the whole way. That might make it not so fun that you want to go the other way. So we're going by plants, tractors, guy in a white suit over there, flags flying, and he's like, yeah, I don't like it. I go, well, I don't like it either, but there's nothing we can do. I want to go this way. So he just got crooked, and his hindquarter then went to the right, and so I straightened him out with my right leg and a little tap with my stick. So I've already used my stick a fair amount. Now we got caution tape up here, you know, and he might have never seen this stuff before, but I did take him out here with another horse, and I took him out once by himself, but the camera battery was dead, so he didn't get to do it. So he's seen this stuff before. He's just nervous. Now we got some weird machinery going on behind us. Now he just relaxed, so he put his head down lower, so then I pushed my hands forward and down to follow his mouth and to give to him to let him know that's a good idea. Okay. And he just pooped. So I'm going to kick that off the road. So when I get on, don't get on facing home, which is that way. We're going to get on this way. Now the tractor's coming up behind him, so same thing, you got to make a decision. Don't get on while that tractor's coming up here. Just wait. See him spook a little? That's okay. But that's why you make a decision, like, don't put your foot up in that stirrup because, oh, now see him spook? So what am I doing? I'm going towards the abduct, not away from it. I'm backing him up. I'm just lightly tapping him in the knees. Then we're going to try it again. So I said to him, by doing, that's not a good decision. Whoa. So he might get scared again as I get on. Now, I kind of got on slowly because I wasn't sure what he was going to do. He's acting like he might have a little fit, so let's see. Yep. So if I didn't push him and he didn't know I was dominant, he would have just tried to take me home. Because I could feel it. He was thinking about it. He's like, and he goes, well, I mess with her. Should I? I don't think so. I don't think she's one to mess with. So they got to know you're dominant. You're going to take over. And again, you don't have to get back on their back if they're being a jerk. You can walk them backwards for a long time. They're not going to like it. Okay? Or do the sending exercise while your friends are around. You're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to pull my rope off. I'm going to do my sending exercise while you're walking. I'm going to send him that way and back, and I'm just going to keep walking with you guys. He's not going to like that either. Then the better option would be you just getting on and riding. Now, see, he sees the flag. It's moving. He kind of jumps sideways. Now I really slid the bit a little hard. Like, hey, it's a flag. You pay attention to me. Now here I'm snorting. There's little ponies here. It's windy. There's 2 flags, one on each side. So I breathe and give him a job to do. So I'm bending him to the left. I'm bending him to the right because there's flags on both sides. But we are going by. And you sit back, so if they decide to buck, you keep your heels down, lean back, and if they did do something like that, you disengage their hindquarters. But be careful, you're always looking around. Where am I? Where's the footing? Okay? So if I had to do that, I'd rather do it on the grass where it's not as slippery versus the road. So I'd try to move over the grass if I thought I had to do that. Now he got a little crooked. Now, I tried to make sure nothing of my stuff was digging into him, and he kept bringing his hindquarter to the right just now. So I just turned him to the right, because I don't think it's my saddle. I see enough space all over. I think he's just trying not to do it. So we'll see as we go through the rest of the ride. If something's bothering them, like digging into them, it usually gets worse, not better, even if you get after them. But we are going downhill, and that's when, if your saddle is pinching, and again, I'm riding a lot of different horses, and I try to shim them, but sometimes stuff still pinches, but that's when it can get them more. But he was just being a goofball with that flag right before we did it, and then there's caution tape down here too. Okay, so let's start moving out again. Let's find the bit, just a little. Now, things to analyze when you're going out and building trust. So we are going away from the barn, right? And he's doing all this stuff going away. Usually when you come back towards the barn, not much bothers them at all. And even if it does, they're very willing to go past it because they want to go back to the barn. But if the saddle's really digging into them or bothering them, he should do the same thing coming back down this hill that he did down that hill. So that's how you figure out, is it my saddle? Is this guy being a jerk? Okay? So you just got to figure it out, analyze it, but don't let them get away with stuff. Okay? Yes, we want to make sure they're not in pain and not having any problems, but we also have to make sure they're paying attention. So there was a little noise up there, kind of like maybe a cap gun or something. And I think he did very well in the woods, so I think he's quite used to that. He's just not used to suburbia. And we want to get him used to this stuff. So if we see stuff out on the trail, it's no big deal because he's seen a ton of houses, bikes, cars, vehicles, all those things. Okay. So I'm looking around, kind of in the middle of the road because I'm trying to see if anything's coming. But again, if something did, I would leg yield him, and then if there's space, I try to get off the road and out of the way if possible. So those are all your jobs, is that you're looking around. So see, he kind of twinged over there. There's a bird, and I just pushed him back towards it. Like, don't run away from the bird. but now he's gating quite well. So being a goofball did get us some more energy. So look at the good side, okay? Got us more energy so we can gate more and really walk out and really feel him pushing. And you see now he's walking quite good. He's not sore. That gravel gets a lot of the barefoot horses, but it gets us too. If you take your shoes off and walk on that, you'll see just how bad it really is. Okay, so we got another downhill coming up, but we're still going away from the barn. So I'm going to see, is he going to go off to the right again? Now, I think it's always good that horses get chiropractic treatments, that they have body workers on them, because those people will pick up soreness. Like, I think your saddle's digging into him. Every time I come, his right side is sore, and then it gets better, and then I come back and it's sore again. You're like, maybe I better get the saddle fitter out. Maybe I'm not doing a good job. Now, he's going down this hill just fine. He's not bringing his butt to the right. So that's making me think that was a temper tantrum. And the horses will be perfectly fine with me, not have any temper tantrums, go home with their owners, and they have temper tantrums because they're not going to ride like I do, they're not going to get after them like I do, and so the horse takes over, like, I don't have to listen to you, you're weak. That's exactly what they're telling me, you're weak, you don't know what you're doing, I'm taking over. And what you need to think in your head is, I'm not weak, I'm really strong, and I'm motivated, and I'm going to figure this out because you don't pay your board, and if I'm paying for you, well, guess what? You're going to take me out for some rides. So you got to be motivated and get after him. And now I'm going to go a little faster. Squirrel jumped out. But see, now he's paying a little bit more attention. He's not focused on being a jerk. There he spooked in place, but again, that's okay. All I did was slide the bit. Oh, so I was going to talk to you about one rein stop and all that. When you're riding, you want to know how to disengage their hindquarters, how to do a one rein stop, how to just stop your horse well, back it, and back it up in a straight line. Those are all the things that are going to help you stop it, okay? But you have to be looking around, like you can't see my head, but I'm looking to the left, I'm looking straight, now I'm looking off to the right, and I'm looking at the footing, and then I'm looking at the objects, like what could move and scare my horse? When do I got to get their attention really? So they don't spook at something, but also if something happens, where can I go? You don't want to, now he just spooked. So there, I could back up because that was a bigger spook. And I'm like, if you're going to spook big, we're going to stand by the object for a little bit. I don't like to just go by stuff, having them spook all over the place. I'm like, keep spooking, we're going to start going up to stuff. And then a lot of times they'll stop spooking because they're like, I don't want to go up to it, I'll just close my eyes and walk by. But when you're going to do your horse spooks, I pull on both reins. You'll see I don't do a one rein stop very often, okay? I will in an emergency or in the right situation, but otherwise I don't. I got a good woe on my horses, and almost all of them will just stop when I pull on the reins. Here's those little twisty things. So why don't I want to do a one rein stop? Well, one, it spins your horse around. So I will if they're trying to buck me off or rear up. Now we got a sprinkler over on the left. So I'm sliding the bit, push in, So I lean back and I stuck my right heel and I'm like, you keep going. You got this. Because he seems more that he's going to spook if I just stand there and let him look at it versus just go by. And now we got the alpacas up here. They weren't at the road the other day, but they are today. So this might give us another situation. So we're going to start far away to start, then turn towards them. And this is where we're going to look. But when you're going to do a one rein stop, I've seen so many people have issues where their horse was going to be okay if they just pulled on both reins, and instead, when the horse spooked or the person got scared, the horse didn't even spook, they did a one rein stop and took their horse. So I don't know if he sees this alpaca under the tree. Here he comes. And took their horse. He's hiding behind the tree, Remy. See his body? Look like an alpaca without a head. They're prey animal too, so you get two prey animals scaring each other. So my hands are wide, I'm sitting back, I got my legs ready to push on him if he starts to do something, because the alpaca I think has a hay bag or something on that tree. You're okay. So now, if he stands here, this would be a good time for a cookie, but I'm being careful. There's horses over there too, and the horse is like, don't worry about that guy behind the tree. So I'm going to reward him for standing here and making the alpaca a good thing. Okay? But you got to be careful. If you do that one range stop and there's a gully, a ditch, you're on a single track, you're going to take your horse off of that into a cliff, into the gully. You might flip it over. So you got to be very careful. And if your horse is galloping and you do it, there's a high likelihood that if you turn its head, trips or anything, that you're going to flip it over. So it's better to pull, release, take it in a circle if you can, if there's a big field, and then slowly, okay, now we're gonna go. He's being pretty good, but when I turn and they get behind me, if they move, he might spook, so I'm ready. So breathe, come on, buddy, you're okay. And relax your legs and seat, relax everything. People wanna hold on, that scares them more. I know you wanna stick on, but it just makes the horse more fearful and more likely to spook. But you got to pick and choose where you're going to do that one range stop, because again, I was riding with this one lady. The horse got a little nervous, really wasn't going to spook. I saw it. So this is the sprinkler again on the right. Go boy, I got my right rein open, my left leg on him. I'm going to get back to the talking in a minute. Good job, Bree. You're okay. Good job, Remy. So see, he went by it. He's a little nervous, but that's okay. This is weird stuff. That's why I'm taking him out here, so he can see it. Now there, he shot a little forward. So what are we going to do? This is what I do on the trail. Bike comes flying up behind you, turn around, look towards it. Let them see it. If he wants to turn his head and look out of his eyes, I will do, but I don't let them squirt forward. But with the one rein stop, you got to be very careful, because that one lady I was talking about, if she would have just pulled on the reins because the horse sped up a little bit, she would have been fine. But she pulled that horse sideways. It then went off of the trail, down into a gully area, and almost flipped over. And I'm like, what are you doing? She said, well, I got scared. And she made the situation much, much worse than it would have been. Nothing would have happened if she just pulled on the reins. So sometimes that's the problem. You're doing the wrong thing. So you got to practice what you're going to do in different situations. You can do that on the couch with a glass of wine and use your dog leash, or bring some reins home and go through different scenarios of what's happening and what you would do in those situations. That's what lots of athletes, Olympic people do. You know, they practice on the field and things, but they also practice scenarios. The race car drivers do it, the people jumping the horses do it. Like, I have 3 sties, I'm going to sit back in the corner, half halt, sink down deep into my seat. Now there's a car coming, so we're going to turn because I see it coming, and I'm going to get up over here where I have lots of room, because why go around a turn? If I can stay out of their way. So that's why I chose to come back up. Okay, you're trying to keep your horse safe, and if you do things like that, the horse starts going, oh, she knows what she's doing. She kept us safe from that car. So you're trying to practice different scenarios, so when they actually happen, you're prepared and you know what to do. Now we're going down a hill, aren't we? So let me feel what he's doing. He is not swinging his butt to the right like he did down that one hill. It was steeper, but I'm going to go down more steeper hills than this, and we'll see if he does it. But so far, he's telling me that was a temper tantrum. So then I did the right thing to get after him. Because again, if I thought it was saddle so made him sore and I didn't do anything, and then I find out it wasn't, well, then he just got away with it, and he's going to try it again next time. Okay? So the hard thing is, your horse is going to test you. That's where it's going to have the temper tantrums. And the problem, it might not do it with the trainer because it trusts the trainer, or it knows the trainer's going to get after it. But you're the one who has to practice. You're the one who has to go through these scenarios. And you're the one who has to, when that horse does something, correct it. Because if you keep correcting it, even though it's testing you, again, that happened. Okay, now we're going to go over here so I can go up on the right if the car comes. it's going to test you. You just have to do the right stuff. And if you keep doing the right stuff, he just pulled on me, so I just slid the bit a little bit hard. So that's when I do something hard with the bit, when I slide, is when they yank on me. Never let them yank on you. Okay? But they're going to test you. You have to go through it, and that's how you gain their trust and their confidence, because it's all a test. Can she make me do this, or can I just run home because I'm scared? Well, if they can just run home, why would they come out? If you could just not go to work and still get paid, would you go to work? I can tell you, 90% of people would not go to work and 10% would. Those are the hard workers. And that's not many people. So the horse is the same way. It will take the easiest route. If it tries not to go out on the trail and it scares you and it intimidates you and it doesn't have to go out, well, that's what it's going to do every time. From then on, it learned it doesn't have to go out because that's the easy route. If that horse can buck you off instead of going out or jumping a jump, that's what that horse is going to do if it learned it could. But if it tries those things and something not so nice happens with it, they go, whoa, it's much easier if I just go. I mean, I got to walk an hour, but geez, it's better than what she does if I don't go, so I'm just going to go. And that's just who they are. Okay? Kind of like you got lazy friends who will do anything not to do something. That's what horses are. You don't know it though, because they get anxious, nervous, spooky, but that's who in reality they are. And the same thing is, so if they can spook at something and they get to go home, guess what? They're going to spook. But if they spook at something and you make them go up to it, go around it, go through it, under it, over it, they're going to be like, I just don't want to spook. She does crazy stuff when I spook. So I'll just close my eyes and walk. And then I'll be by it, and then we're free. Okay? Now I'm going to slide the bit. He just pawed his head up, and that tells me he's looking at something. He's looking for danger, maybe a car's coming. He's a little antsy. He's shortened his stride up. And so I'm going to weave. There's something over here on the right. Sounds like something pulling a trailer. Like ding, ding, ding. So I'm just serpentining. I got my heels down. Now you don't want to go too slow. You want to keep moving forward, because if you hold them, sometimes they stop and then they want to rear up or something. So it's always best to move forward. They're less likely to rear and buck. But you gotta have your rein short and be ready. Good job. So sneezing is good. It's a release. So he's doing pretty good. He had a little temper tantrum and he was nervous, but there was a lot going on. And now we're going home, so guess what? Even though he was nervous right there, he's not so nervous anymore because we're headed towards home. He's like, I got my eye on the prize. Now we're going a little faster. It's uphill, but this is still fine. Because we do want to practice his gait and get him stronger. Now this is his saddle gait. Oop, I gotta go a little faster. Hear that? And as we get up here, the flags are gonna come back up, so I don't want to saddle gate by them. As I get closer, I'm gonna go slower. I'm gonna move in the middle because the one flag's coming up on the right. I just breathe. Slow down. It's not blowing, but it doesn't mean it's not going to start blowing. They will go by the flag 1,000 times, and then that one windy day it's really blowing, or it's blowing different than it blew before. They're like, I don't want to go by that. They're like, but I got you used to flags. Yeah, but that flag's bothering me today. That's just who they are. And that's okay. Good boy. So now I'm going to speed back up again. So I can use some of their energy up. Don't try to go super slow. If you need to go super slow, then do more lunging. Today I didn't do that much because I wanted to make a video, so I wanted him to act up some. But I think I did 5 minutes. And last time I did 10 minutes and he didn't have a temper tantrum. Maybe that was it, maybe it wasn't. Okay. So when they're new like this, am I going to let my reins go long? No. If I was at the beach, I might, because that's very exhausting there. But this is not this ride. I know he's not exhausted, and if I drop the reins and something comes flying up behind me, I know he might spook. And I'm on the road, so you gotta be careful. You're always thinking, what am I gonna do if a tractor comes up here, or they start doing something nutty on the right, because that's farm, so they're always in and out loading stuff. Oh boy. If they're scared of stuff and it goes by me and they spook, it's not like I can stop and let them look at it because it flew by, like a vehicle or a bike, or, you know, somebody jogging. Then I do chase it. They just closed the truck door up there. Like last time I was out here, that mail truck came up behind me. He spooked. I got off on the side, turned around so he could see it, and when it went by, we chased it. And we were actually going downhill, so I gated downhill and up the next hill to chase it. Because the more you teach horses, they can move things away from them, the braver they get. So, again, if something came up behind me and then he spooked, I'd try to turn towards it, and then I would try to follow it for a long period of time until it disappeared. You might have to tell your friends, hey, we gotta chase the bike. And they're like, what? And you're like, just come on. No. He just spooked. Now, it could have been me because I touched him with my leg, but it might not have been. Could have been the truck. Yeah, see how he's worried? Now he's worried. I can feel him all bunched up. So, I'm looking behind me to see what's there. But he is all bunched up, so I'm sitting back. Now I'm gonna serpentine. He's like, good thing you didn't lunge me that hard because you wouldn't show anybody anything. So I'm trying to disperse the energy and give him something to do. So he's not used to suburbia. How do you get him used to suburbia? You keep riding in suburbia, hiking him out here, taking him, getting him used to this stuff. Okay? You don't want to try and do this when you're going with your friends. Now they're out, so they're stopped right here on my right. So I'm trying to keep them in the middle of this speed. Slide the bit. Come on, Remy. See him be an idiot? So watch. Now we're going to speed up. Yeah, now you're going to run down the hill. So he bunched up, he went sideways, but again, I have control now that I've taught him stuff. Even though he got scared, he listened to me. He moved off my leg. You are making a mess with the manure. But that's how you know they're scared, because he's pooping. And you might be like, who cares? I do. I don't like leaving manure in the road, so I'm going to come back. Now the road up to the right curves to the right and went away. And you'll see, now I'm going to start slowing back down. But the only way he gets used to that stuff is I keep taking him over here. Okay? And then if she never takes him any place again, do you think it's going to stick? No. You got to keep doing it over and over again. And if you're right on the road, you constantly, you hear me groaning. I keep looking behind me to make sure I'm not blocking cars or anything because I'm in the road. So the sneezing is good. That's a release. There's the truck. Okay? See, now he's far away, so he doesn't like that stuff next to him. He's one that I would take, trailer to places that are busy, horse shows and other things, and places where they're going to have trucks and food trucks and things like that. And this gate's hard. and take him to places like that so he gets used to it, because he's not used to it. That's not his fault. Now I'm trying to get him over, and he's like, I'm antsy, I don't want to go over next to the fence. And I go, yeah, you do. So I just did it with my foot. Now I'm going to go through it, and then we got to turn around and shut it. Now he's not going to want to shut it. He's going to want to go home, because that's what they do when they're nervous. Now this car is going to open that gate. So what do I got to do? I'm going to turn, because the gate's going to move. And I'm going to turn back and forth if I have to, just to keep his feet moving if he keeps getting goofy. Now I'm under a tree, so I got to be careful. Now the gate's going to move in a second. I know that's going to happen. So what am I doing? I'm kind of going left and right. Another car's coming. They're trying to speed through it. So now, you know, if I bend over to shut this gate, that thing's going to go. So I'm not going to. Okay, so now he's not so afraid of the gate. No, come on, Remy. So hear me get a little, nope. So I'm pushing him, and he's like, up yours. I'm like, really? So he's having a fit. Now I'm kind of tearing up their stuff, aren't I? Okay, so I got to get the gate, and he's being a butthole, and I'm under a tree, so I have to decide, what do I do? Okay, so I'm not going to beat him up. I do want him next to this gate, so I'm making him come up next to this gate while I shut it, because that was the whole point, but it's okay. Okay, now I'm going to stand here because he wants to go home. So I'm on the ground, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to just try to calm him down just by standing here, because he's standing here calmly now, but you can see he ripped up all the footing here. So by me getting off, he's not going home any faster. Now he has to stand next to the gate, and we're just standing here. But you have to decide, like, if he rears up and hits my head on that, you know, he could kill me. So am I going to do that? No. Am I going to spin around here? No, the footing's horrible. We could slip, fall into that fence. He could roll. Disaster. How you like it now? Oh, he opened it back up. Well, let's go back through then. How about that? Bet you didn't expect that. So you just got to think of stuff. Like, the horse is having a hissy fit. What do I do? Well, let's go back and do it again then. He did that. So I want him to leave calmly. Now, you're trying to figure out, he got all amped up after that thing, right? So should I get back on right now and cross this busy road? No. I like this width. So now I'm going to work on his groundwork. And this is the horse that was kind of scared of whips. He's not scared of whips with me anymore, but he respects them. So I'm going to make him stand here. And now I'm going to look around. Where is the safety zone that I can make him get used to the trucks and stuff going by, but be safe and out of the way? Oh, right over there. So even though we're going home, I'm making him stay back, and I'm going to stand over here. Well, at least 10 minutes where it's safe and I have control, but I know there's gullies over here, so I'm going to stay back here and get him used to the vehicles going by. He freaked out mostly because it was above us. He's been okay with them on the ground, but still. And then there's a generator here. So if he didn't do that, I would have just went home. I would have just went from the gate and rode him back. But instead, he chose this. Now we're going to stand here for 10 minutes. So I'm going to shut you off because you don't need to see this for 10 minutes. But we have big trucks and everything go by here, and he's just gonna have to stand here and hang out. So we've been standing here for a while. Lots of traffic going by. The mail truck's coming at us. This is him, so now he's being pretty calm. Maybe the mail truck will do a burnout or something. The only way to get them better at the stuff is exposure, and you have to do it safely. You're trying to build their trust, but he has to learn that he can't have a meltdown and run away from stuff also. So again, that's why I do all the arena stuff, so he knows all the maneuvers, and I can control his shoulders and his hindquarters and all those things to keep me safe. And then of course I can get off like I did. So you try to work with it, and if it doesn't, now another truck's coming down the hill. So now we just expose him. We just keep standing and letting things go by, and we do that every day. Now, he's being calm, so I did pet him in those things, because that's perfectly fine. But if he was being antsy, I wouldn't. And people will look at you weird, like, are you okay? What are you doing? Why are you on the ground walking your horse? Because I need exercise. That's what I tell them. I need exercise. So, but again, if your horse is afraid of something, find out where that stuff is and slowly start exposing them over and over again to it. Okay? You can do it from the ground. If you're scared, that's perfectly fine, but you got to have good groundwork, and they have to be respectable on the ground. And the same thing under saddle. But if they start getting kooky under saddle, and again, I was on a road, then I was under a tree, then I was in bad footing, you got to decide what's the safest thing to do. When you're young, you're stupid and you ride things out that you never should. And then you get older and you're like, I have a job and I have to pay for a house and I can't get hurt. You know what? I'm going to get off and think of a better way to do this. And that's what you do. So as you get older, your riding skills might go down some because your athletic ability is going to go down, but you'll get smarter and wiser. Okay, so you'll find ways to do things and get it accomplished in a different way versus riding it out, beating the horse up and making it, go through stuff. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Sitting here for a little bit longer. Okay, so we stood there for a while. He was anxious when I was getting back on. I was trying to spin around a little bit. Now something made a noise behind us. Now I'm starting to do my leg yield because he got anxious. So I don't want to just sit there and try to ride it out, because then you just pull and that makes them more nervous, because then they're claustrophobic. Now Mack truck is going by us back there. Huh, but you did better with that, but it was farther away. So I'm just leg yielding back and forth the whole way. My leg yields are going to get good. Now, say you wanted to get back on, you had a long way to go back, and you think he's okay to ride, but they're being antsy like that, you have somebody hold them as you're trying to get on if you have a friend with you. There's no reason to have them flinging you around as you're trying to get up there, especially if you don't have the best balance or you're not athletic to get up there. Just have somebody hold them. You get up there, get your vest hooked up, and then tell them to set you loose. And then, again, watch where you are. Make sure you get on in a safe place. I moved him over because he was trying to move, so I didn't want to get on in the cement. I got on in the where there was like 12-foot area. And then I just turned him once I got on because he wanted to leave. Okay? It's hard. They do this stuff and then they get away with it, and so what do? The easiest thing, then they do that again. Now he's starting to calm down. But it's hard. You get scared and then you can't calm yourself down, which then makes the horse more nervous, or you start yanking on it or beating it, and then they get freaked out. Now we're going by goats, and it just goes downhill. So that's part of the thing. they tell you horses will make you humble because you think you got it, and then you're like, nope, don't got it today. Happens to all of us. Happens with the best horses. Okay? Sometimes stuff just goes to crap. But the ones that have had enough training or have had bad situations or were trained well in the beginning and somebody took it all off and did all the wrong things, guess what? This is what happens. This is a nice horse. I like this horse a lot. But he has these little tantrums, and I couldn't start out trying to work him through these tantrums, even though she told me he had them, because I didn't have any tools. And that's the hard part when you're training horses. Like, you don't want to die. Who wants to die training a horse for 30 days? Okay? That's not a good life. So you got to make them safe enough you can take them out here, because we don't think they're safe enough when they have no training. And we got to try to fix as many holes as we can, and then we got to take them out here and deal with it. But you can't deal with it if you don't have the tools. So that's why you have to go backward first. And then you have to keep working through this stuff like this and exposing them. And again, you don't have to be on their back. If you know they're afraid of trucks, we'll trailer to a truck stop. Take them off. Let them sit there. But if you don't expose them and you avoid it, they'll never get better, and they're always going to have those things. So a car's coming. So we're going to try and go over here in case he does something goofy. I'm sliding the bit. Thank you. And I slid the bit. I leaned back and because he felt like he was going to be goofy. And he wasn't afraid of cars before, but sometimes one thing sets them off, and then they're afraid of everything. Okay? You see 5 bikes, the horse is fine. On the 6th bike, it explodes because it goes, enough's enough, I can't take anymore. And then after that, their mind's lost. Okay? And you just got to slowly bring it back down. And that's the hard part. Now, if you were trail riding this horse and you guys were out somewhere and you get back and everybody gets off their horse, that's what you want to do too, isn't it? You're like, I'm going to get off this idiot. No. No, we're going to ride him. There's some more goats up there. We're going to ride him in the arena, do some hard work, and then I'm going to tie him up. And I'm going to tie him up for a while. Okay? Because if you get off, he gets home. That's where he wants to be because that's where he feels safe. I take all his tack off and wash him. Or they eat their hay that's still left in the stall. All that's a reward. I don't want to reward him. He was not good out there. Now he just spooked, didn't he? Kind of in place. But I'm like, no, nothing enough for me. Because he's being goofy. Yeah, it's goat. You're not spooking by the goats. Now if he gets amped up, now as I start moving, he's getting a little amped up. Look what I'm doing. I'm doing my serpentine. And we might get up here and those dogs are going to bark again. That might set him off. Again, I know he's on the edge now. He is on a higher energy hay, so that can add to it. Okay? Sometimes all of a sudden it's, they've been on it and it gets to a couple weeks to a month, and all of a sudden that's when it hits them. And you're like, ooh, why are they so goofy? So it can be the food, and he might not do it when he's back on his grass hay, but now I hear something coming. So I'm going to speed up. And this is great because now I got my client Deb's coming in with her trailer, and now she's following us. He's like, you said she'd do mean stuff. She is. So now he's got a scary truck following us. That's perfect. So he didn't get away from it. He just got it to follow us. And it's squeaky too. He's like, this is my worst nightmare. Now he sped up a little bit. I don't care. I'm home. All he's doing, if he does something bad, is just making this worse for himself. This is a great experience, which most people would be like, oh my God, I'm getting off. I'm like, I want to see what he does. Oh, now he's calm. So I'm showing her back to where she can park. And then again, I'm just going to ride him in the arena and I'm going to tie him up. So that's what I'm going to do. All of us have these problems. You're not alone. It will make you think. It will make you a better rider. It will make you prepare more if you want to be successful in getting your horse through this. And then some, you know, you're just like, it's just too much. I'm going to buy a more expensive horse, one that hasn't had any issues. And that's what I'm going to do. So it's up to you just to decide, you know, what works for you.